Back to David L. Boyd Field in the campus of the Boyd Buchanan School. We open up the second quarter scoreless. Chris Goforth alongside Scott McMahon, Dave Keelan down on the field. Notre Dame threatening here as we open the second quarter. They have it second down and 10, about 11 maybe. Ball marked at the 17-yard line. We flip-flop ends of the field.
Beautiful night for football, Chris. It's going to be a nice weekend for the games tomorrow night and, of course, Saturday and Sunday as well.
Notre Dame keeps it on the ground. Big hole, left side. Watch Banks. Watch him cut inside the 5 before finally being brought down.
So impressive. His quick feet, the up and down, the movement, he's got that lean in his run, if you know what I'm talking about. Just a really, really special running back for Notre Dame. And, of course, like you said, the team leader as far as rushing with 260 yards coming into this game.
Heltzel, again, they call the play at the line after having it signaled in from the sideline. And Heltzel will shuffle a couple of players around here. Snap is again high. He pulls it in. He'll run. Heltzel makes the turn. Heltzel reaching towards the end zone. Touchdown, Notre Dame.
Now that is an athlete right there, Chris. That is impressive. That goes back to just wanting to be successful. The work that he puts in just paid off, because that snap could have easily gone over his head and they would have had a loss of 7 or 8 yards on that play. Instead, it is 6 points and in the end zone for Notre Dame.
Notre Dame takes the early 6-0 lead. And Michael Quatrano on to attempt the extra point. A little bit of a breeze here, but really not enough to affect the kick inning. As the snap is down and Quatrano's kick is low and no good. So Notre Dame takes a 6-0 lead with 11:27 to play here in this second quarter over Boyd Buchanan in our high school rivalries. It's a non-region matchup between Boyd Buchanan and Notre Dame.
As I mentioned earlier, too, these two teams are a pretty good rival just because of the fact that they're a private school, fairly close together, and they've been about the same size from an attendance standpoint throughout the history of both schools.
They haven't played each other a lot in football. Now they see each other a lot in some of the other sports, basketball and soccer. Both have very good soccer programs and other sports, but at least since the late 1980s, they've only played each other twice in football. Boyd Buchanan has won both of those, and the Buccaneers find themselves trailing here 6-0 Notre Dame with the lead. Clay Heltzel, the quarterback for Notre Dame, with a 4-yard touchdown run. Extra point attempt was no good. It capped off a 7-play drive for Notre Dame with the score. And so the Buccaneers send Austin Jackson back deep along with Demarius Macon to return the kick. The Bucs will try to get some offense going here. They've struggled the last 2 weeks offensively. First kick went into the end zone. This one here, Demarius Macon will have it go through his arms, and it rolls into the end zone, so bring it out to the 20-yard line, and the Bucs will start there with a 1st and 10 at their own 20.
First kick went over his head. The second one went between his legs. So same result, though. You get the ball at the 20 where it's 1st and 10.
Boyd Buchanan last week lost to Franklin Road Academy out of Nashville, 35-21. Only 3 penalties for the Buccaneers in that game. They did commit 2 turnovers, though, and those turnovers were costly. But the stat line, the box score for Boyd Buchanan last week, didn't look all that bad. Now the Bucs, they have this game tonight, and then they get an off week before they travel to Nashville to play DCA. Here's Cardwell to throw, and it's caught. Chris Lyons with a sliding grab.
Lyons is just a great target for Cardwell on that little out. He's so tall, rangy, and gets the little step in front of the defender, and he can get the catch. Gain about 4 yards.
Great hands.
Yeah,
great hands.
No question.
Great hands. Bucs will go with an empty backfield, it looks like, and 5 wide on a 2nd down and 6. Here comes Jackson on the end around. Can he make the turn? No. Notre Dame just too fast on defense. Ricky Ballard among those there to push Jackson out of bounds.
Ricky Ballard and Anthony Flemister, they saw that play coming. Again, the right side of the Buccaneer offensive line is inexperienced, trying to gel, and they didn't do it on that play. They got blown up pretty easily, and Notre Dame had that sniffed out.
Yeah, that's the tough task when you try to scheme up against this Notre Dame defense, because they are so fast moving sideline to sideline. When you start talking about guys like Josh Russell and Ricky Ballard and Kareem Orr. Here's Cardwell. Steps up, throws, man is wide open, it's caught, it's Lions in the middle of the field, into Notre Dame territory, down to the Irish 30, and a first down for Boyd Buchanan.
There you go, across the middle, it was wide open. Notre Dame makes the stop, but it's way downfield, and there's the good hands player again, Mr. Chris Lyon.
Yeah, nice job by Jim Cardwell to step up and buy himself a little bit more time.
And hats off to Lyon, too, to get behind the defense and make sure he was open.
First down for Boyd Buchanan into Notre Dame territory as Cardwell will fake the give and tries to keep it himself. Really the first time we've seen Jim Cardwell call his own number tonight.
Right.
And that time he tried to slide off left tackle and gets banged around a little bit.
Keely Green was the Notre Dame defender that stepped up from his right inside linebacker position, made that play, and got Cardwell on the ground.
Yeah, Green is the guy that, you know, when you talk about this Notre Dame defense, now we've talked about Kareem Orr and Ricky Ballard, but
Dossett.
Yeah, Dossett. Keely Green may be the best linebacker on this Notre Dame team and will probably end up leading this team in tackles at the end of the year.
He's got 28 coming into this game, so that's almost 10 a game.
2nd and 11, Cardwell to throw over the middle, and it's incomplete. Intended for Jackson. The fans want a penalty flag, but none thrown. Buccaneers coached by Grant Reynolds in his 8th season here at Boyd Buchanan. 64 wins, 29 losses, and of course back in 2009 he guided the Buccaneers to the state championship game where they fell to Trousdale County. Notre Dame coached by Charles Fant in his 2nd year. He's 11-4 overall as a head coach, and really when he arrived at Notre Dame, having been on Robert Akins' staff down at Ringgold for a couple of years, he really breathed some excitement into Notre Dame football. Here's Cardwell with a screen on a 3rd and long, caught by Jackson, and a nice open field tackle by Notre Dame.
Kareem Orr steps in there and makes the tackle, gets him on the ground. Again, the defensive pursuit and quickness of the Fighting Irish is impressive.
4th down and 11. Buccaneers with a big pass play on this drive from Jim Cardwell to Chris Lyon, and Lyon is now on the bench over here, and he's been getting some assistance from the training staff.
It is a humid night. We can attest to that, and I think that's probably where Chris Lyon has found himself too after that big long run.
Yeah, he's got one of those cooling towels on, I believe it is, Scott. That's what we need up
exactly
here. 4th and long, Cardwell to throw, has time, now being forced to run, and he's sacked.
Nice penetration, nice play by Notre Dame. They step up big time, and number 9, Chris Hornsby, out of his right defensive end position, makes that sack, brings Cardwell down. An offensive line play, still the issue with Boyd Buchanan.
So Notre Dame will take over following the sack on 4th down, and the Irish take over at their own 40-yard line. They lead Boyd Buchanan 6-0. Stick around at halftime. Andy Santoro will join us from the studio. And we'll give you a first half analysis of what's going on here so far. It's been pretty quiet really from both of these offenses. One big pass play for Boyd Buchanan. Big pass play and a big run for Notre Dame. Heltzel with a 4-yard touchdown run, and that's where we are here. 6-0 Notre Dame as the Irish keep it on the ground. And a nice carry out to midfield. Austin Banks again on the.
And here's the pace you spoke of earlier with the Notre Dame offense. They get lined up. Heltzel gets the call from the sideline. he passes it along to the offensive line, and, buddy, they're ready to go.
Yeah, if you're Boyd Buchanan, you really have to hurry if you're going to try to make any substitutions at all. Penalty flag thrown as they run straight ahead into Buccaneer territory down to the 40-yard line. But there is a penalty flag. This may be coming back. Let's go downstairs and Dave Keelan. Dave?
Chris, if you'll remember, we met with Coach Fant earlier this week and talked to him a little bit about the game and some of the things that they're due to prepare for these games. Coach Fant says that one thing that they've started doing as a team is they've started doing yoga 30 minutes before, on a game day, before they leave the school. They will actually line up in the wrestling room at Notre Dame High School, and they will do yoga before they take the field. Coach Fant has said that this has actually helped them along the way, said they don't have anything but acute injuries now, which is more bone breaks and things like that, that it's actually helped them. So it's very interesting that Coach Fant is using yoga to help his team get ready for their football year.
Downward-facing dog right before we went on the air tonight.
Yeah, and I pulled a hamstring doing it, Chris, so I'm going to need some first aid attention up here. You know, it is interesting how that yoga will affect you when you'll be able to stretch your muscles, which a lot of people make fun of that with all the little poses or whatever. But certainly that is so important when it comes to football, because you never know when you're going to get pushed one way, tug the other, bent over some way. So I can see where that is paying dividends for Coach Fant and the Fighting Irish.
And that is Charles Fant. I mean, the guy is such a, you know, he's one of those guys that thinks out of the box a little bit, and I think you see that with some of the creativity in the Notre Dame offense sometimes that he brings. I think that's who Charles Fant is. And if you go talk to any of the players that have ever played for him during his time as an assistant, and certainly his years now in his second season at Notre Dame, the players just love to play for him.
Well, and he's a guy that grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, had a great high school career up there, came to Vanderbilt as a quarterback, believe it or not, played 1 year at quarterback under Jerry DiNardo, and then moved to wide receiver for his next 3 years. So he's a college football player, and he knows how to coach these kids up in high school so they can be attracted to college scouts.
Here's Heltzel. He'll throw, looking for 6 into the end zone, and it's incomplete. Nice job in the secondary for Boyd Buchanan. I believe that's the freshman in Jeremy Borders who was running stride for stride there with the Notre Dame wide receiver to knock it away.
Nice play by Borders. So if you can hang with Kareem Orr down the sideline, you've done something, and he certainly was with him stride for stride and played great defense on the superstar wide receiver / running back, whatever position he's playing. He can do it all.
Get used to running if you're the Buccaneer defense, because
no question.
They're back to the line and ready to snap it again. Heltzel from the pistol. A little bit of a high snap, and Banks gets the carry to the left. Breaks a tackle, gets the first down inside the 30, goes down to the 29-yard line.
I sound like a broken record, I'm sorry, but those feet on Banks are impressive. He comes up to the line, sees nothing there, bounces it out to the left side. Then by the time he gets around that edge, he has enough sense to kind of cut it back towards the middle, where he great vision downfield. And when you've got great vision with those kind of feet, you're going to be highly successful.
Timed at 10.6 in the 100 meters.
Woo.
That is flying.
Let's go for it quick.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm not sure my car goes 10.6 in the 100 meters. Heltzel to throw, hit as he releases, pass bobbled and caught, and a nice job on the far sideline by the Notre Dame receiver. That is concentration if you're Notre Dame, to bobble it like that and pull it in. Pass was caught there.
Yeah, by Brandon Harris, the tight end. Nice play. I'm not sure it was intended to go to him, but anytime you catch it, you say thank you, and you'll pick up 5 yards.
2nd down and 6 now for the Irish. Ball moves down to the 25. As again, Heltzel looks to the sideline for the play. There's the snap and the handoff straight ahead with room. It's Banks. Banks has near first down yardage.
What a fighter with the football, man. He just drives for every yard.
Gets down to the Buccaneer 15.
Stop made by Cardwell there, and looked like Brogan Baker.
Cardwell second on the team.
Jackson.
Second on the team in tackles with 16 coming in. Actually, Austin Jackson and Jake Harden lead the Bucs in tackles with 17. those two linebackers. I think that's been one of the staples of Boyd Buchanan football, certainly since Grant Reynolds has been here over the last 15, 16, 17 years. They always seem to have great play at linebackers. The names change, but the results seem to stay the same as they run between the tackles again and just refusing to go down before he gets down to the 12, 13-yard line. Only gets 3, but that was a hard-earned 3 yards by
was. Ricky
Austin
Ballard.
Banks.
I think that was Ballard on the carry there. When you've got options like Ballard and Banks, it is a quite impressive tandem in the backfield. They line up in that pistol formation. And here we go back. They were in the hurry up, but I'd call it the slow down hurry up, if you will. It took a little time to get that last play in. But again, it was a 5-yard gain, so it's 2nd and 5.
That is Ballard who will stay in. And Ballard behind the quarterback in Heltzel. And now Notre Dame is going to ask for a timeout. The Irish will take a break here so they can talk about things with a 2nd down and 5 at the Boyd Buchanan 10-yard line. And Charles Fant wants a timeout to be able to get it right for his Fighting Irish. Notre Dame comes in 2-1 on a 2-game winning streak. They lost back in week 0 to Knox Catholic, a very good Knoxville Catholic squad. 22-13 the score there, and then they've bounced back. And
with Knox Catholic, a couple of those new Tennessee coaches' sons played for them.
Yeah.
They come out there, and all of a sudden they're really, really good.
Yeah,
Funny how that works.
That's the way that goes. They won against East Ridge then, 21-9, and then last week defeated Chattanooga Christian 50-13. And you talk about struggling now. The quarterback, Alec Darris, who played phenomenal for them last year, goes down with the injury. He's got a bum knee. They had only 138 yards of total offense in that season opener against Knoxville Catholic. That's how much they struggled offensively. And this is a team that had high hopes coming into this year. 97% of their offensive production back from last year, Scott.
And most of them are sophomores.
That's the scary part. Yeah, really that's the scary part about all this. Heltzel, handoff, Banks, right side, breaks a tackle before finally being wrestled to the ground, and a nice job there by Boyd Buchanan. It was Jake Harden got him to the ground.
Jake Harden made a nice play there to keep him from scoring, and he's to be commended. That was tough to get him on the ground, and as we've mentioned before, those guys are hard runners.
And there's another timeout that's been asked for by Notre Dame. Or check that, I believe it's the officials that are asking for a timeout now as they're conversing it around the 10-yard line as they'll bring the sticks from the far side of the field.
Yeah. We got a measurement issue, looking for a 1st down.
Heltzel.
And they get it.
Let's see. There's our fan cam. It's brought to you by Signal Mountain Pharmacy and Compounding Lab. There's Captain Buck.
He's a wild one.
He is. He is. That's the most interesting man right there. Captain Buck. Well, second to Dave Keelan,
right.
Of course.
Very popular in this area.
Yes, he is. Captain Buck or Dave Keelan?
Both, really.
Oh.
They both have their fan base.
There's a snap to Heltzel, and he'll hand it off to Banks. Banks drops a shoulder, penalty flag thrown, so hang on. He fights his way towards the end zone. But
you know, with Banks and Ballard, really, you better have that edge contained, because when they get around that edge, they're looking for holes. And if it's multiple holes, they're going to have options. Boy, you're going to be in trouble on defense.
And the officials discuss the penalty, and Notre Dame reacting like it's on them. The Irish start backing up here.
Looks like holding.
And it's a holding penalty. It is a holding penalty against Notre Dame. So back them up, and they'll try it again. Talked a little bit about this Notre Dame team from last year. Charles Fant's first. They go 9-3, lost in that second round of the 4A playoffs to Giles County. 97% of the offense back from last year. 8 starters back to an offense that averaged about 31 points per game. So again, Scott, you just can't help but think that if they can just find their rhythm offensively here, this is a team that can put up a lot of points. I mean, they scored 50 last week against Chattanooga Christian.
And they run the ball well. We've noted that all night long, and I think Coach Fant goes back to that here, although it is what is that, for first and goal from the 15?
First and goal from the 17-yard line. Heltzel to throw. And he threw it away. Intended for Kareem Orr at around the 5-6-yard line and threw it away.
We talked about Heltzel's athletic ability. Clearly he's a better runner than thrower. But certainly when you haven't played quarterback since 7th grade, isn't it? Something.
Yeah.
You're not going to have as much practice as a guy who's been a quarterback for years and years like Alex Darris. So they're going to have to keep it on the ground. But one of the keys of keeping it on the ground is not having penalties and put yourself into a, first and goal at the 17 type situation.
Heltzel last week, 8 of 18 passing for 150. They do keep it on the ground. Trying to get around the corner is Banks, and Banks gets to the 10 and pushes his way down close to the 5-yard line before being gang tackled by the Buccaneers.
Kind of a stretch zone play there. If you watch, the quarterback not pushes him, but gets the running back out with a handoff running out to the right side, make it, or I should say to the left side, to make that spread of the offensive line come all the way down the line. Didn't work out exactly the way they wanted it, but because of the fight of the running back, he picked up some pretty good yardage there.
10th play of this drive coming up now for Notre Dame. They started this drive back at their own 40, and they have it now 3rd down, goal to go at the Buccaneers 7-yard line. They lead Boyd Buchanan 7-0. As we've got about 4 minutes remaining in the second quarter, and there's a timeout that's asked for by Notre Dame. So the Irish take the timeout and stop the clock with 4:09 to play. Second quarter, Notre Dame leads Boyd Buchanan 6-0. You're watching High School Rivalries powered by EPB Fiber Optics. Make the smart move today.
Signal Mountain Pharmacy and Compounding Lab, a proud sponsor of tonight's High School Rivalry.